Rain lashed against the windows of the Grand Meridian Hotel in downtown Chicago as Sara stepped inside, her coat soaked through, her suitcase dragging behind her like an anchor. She didn't look back, not at the town car idling outside, not at the life she'd just fled. All she carried was a passport, a few $100s in cash, and the sharp, metallic taste of betrayal on her tongue. She'd been hours away from marrying a man she barely knew, a union arranged by her family to secure their future. But when she saw him whispering with her uncle about stock portfolios instead of wedding vows, something in her snapped. She'd slipped out the bathroom window during the rehearsal dinner, hailed a cab, and bought a one-way ticket to the nearest city with a decent airport. Now, standing in the opulent lobby of the Grand Meridian, marble floors, gilded chandeliers, the kind of place she'd only ever seen in movies, Sara felt both invisible and exposed. She approached the front desk where a man in a crisp navy uniform stood polishing a key fob. He had dark eyes that held a quiet intensity, and though he looked far too polished for a night shift, she assumed he was just another overworked receptionist. "I need a room," she said, voice steadier than she felt. "Just for tonight. Maybe longer." He looked up, studied her for a beat too long, then nodded. "We have a suite available on the 12th floor. Quiet, good view." She almost laughed. "I don't need a suite. Just a bed and a lock on the door." He raised an eyebrow, but didn't argue. "Standard room it is." He typed something into the computer, then slid a keycard across the counter. "Room 614. Elevators are to your left." "Thanks," she muttered, already turning away. "You're welcome," he said softly. "And you're safe here." She paused, glancing back. There was something in his tone, not pity, not curiosity, but certainty, like he meant it. She gave a tight nod and disappeared into the elevator. Michael Thorne watched her go, hands tucked into his pockets. He hadn't worn the staff uniform in years, not since he'd taken over his father's hotel empire at 28. But tonight, restless and uncharacteristically bored with board meetings and investor calls, he'd decided to walk the floors incognito, see how things really ran when no one knew the boss was watching. Then she walked in, drenched, defiant, and radiating the kind of raw vulnerability that made even jaded billionaires feel human again. He told himself he'd just check in on her tomorrow, make sure housekeeping didn't disturb her. But by morning he was knocking on her door with coffee and a croissant, still in that damn uniform. She opened the door, hair tangled, eyes wary. "You?" He deadpanned. "Room service." She snorted. "Since when do receptionists deliver pastries?" "Since last night," he said, offering the tray. "Thought you might need fuel." She hesitated, then took it. "You're weirdly nice for someone who works here." He said, smiling faintly. "I'm just doing my job." And so it began. Over the next week, Michael showed up every morning, sometimes with coffee, sometimes with dry cleaning receipts. He'd quietly replaced her ruined coat, once with tickets to a jazz concert 2 blocks away. Sara, suspicious at first, slowly let her guard down. She told him bits and pieces, that she'd run from a wedding, that her family thought they knew what was best for her, that she'd never chosen anything for herself. Michael listened, not as a billionaire, not as a man used to solving problems with money, but as someone who remembered what it felt like to be trapped by expectations. One evening, after they'd shared a bottle of wine on the rooftop garden, she turned to him and said, "You know, I think you're the first person who's ever asked me what I want." He met her gaze. "And what do you want, Sara?" She smiled, small but real. "To stay here, with you. Even if you're just the bellhop." He laughed, low and warm. "What if I'm not?" Her smile faltered. "What do you mean?" He reached into his pocket and pulled out a key, not a room key, but a sleek black one stamped with the Meridian crest. "I own this hotel, and about 40 others." She stared at him, stunned. Then, slowly, she started laughing. "You've been playing receptionist this whole time?" He said quietly, I wanted to meet you as myself, not as Michael Thorne, hotel tycoon, just Michael." Sara exhaled, shaking her head. "Well, lucky for you, I don't care about your bank account. I care that you brought me soup when I had a cold and didn't ask for my life story." He stepped closer. "And what if I want more than just bringing you soup?" She looked up at him, rain beginning to patter on the glass roof above them. "Then you'd better start by asking me to stay." "I'm asking," he said. And this time, when she chose, it was for herself.